Hello everyone. Today we're going to discuss storms and the different types of them as we continue our study of weather. How do the different types of storms form? The blizzard of 1978 was one of the most intense storms to ever hit the northeastern United States. A storm is a violent disturbance in the atmosphere. Storms involve sudden changes in air pressure, which cause rapid air movements. There are several types of severe storms: winter storms, thunderstorms, hurricanes, and tornadoes. Winter storms. In the winter, in the northern United States, a large amount of precipitation falls as snow. All year round, most precipitation begins in clouds as snow. If the air is colder than 0 degrees Celsius, which is freezing, all the way to the ground, the precipitation falls as snow. So let me say it again. If the air is colder than 0 degrees Celsius, all the way to the ground, which is freezing, the precipitation falls as snow. Heavy snow can block roads, trapping people in their homes or delaying emergency vehicles. Some places, including Buffalo and Rochester in the upstate New York, get a lot more snow than others. In an average winter, nearly 3 meters of snow fall in these cities due to the lake effect snow, as shown in Figure 1. The lake effect snow, which would generally mean as cold, dry air moves across the warmer water, it becomes more humid as water vapor evaporates from the lake surface. When the air reaches land and cools, lake effect snow falls. Global patterns of atmospheric movement influence their weather. Buffalo is located east of Lake Erie. Rochester is located south of Lake Ontario. In the fall and winter, the land near these lakes cools much more rapidly than the water in the lakes. When a cold, dry air mass moves southeast across one of the lakes, it picks up water vapor and heat. As soon as the air mass reaches the other side of the lake, the air rises and cools again. The water vapor condenses and falls as snow. Here's just a diagram of that particular discussion. That cold, dry air goes over the lakes. Picks up more water vapor and heat. Thunderstorms. Do you find thunderstorms frightening, exciting? As you watch the brilliant flashes of lightning and listen to long rolls of thunder, you may wonder what causes them. How thunderstorms form. A thunderstorm is a small storm often accompanied by heavy precipitation and frequent thunder and lightning. Thunderstorms form in large cumulonimbus clouds, also known as thunderheads. Most cumulonimbus clouds form on hot, humid afternoons or evenings. They also form when warm air is forced upward along a cold front. In both cases, the warm, humid air rises rapidly, as shown in Figure 2. Which is this right here. Storm movement, heavy rain. A thunderstorm forms when warm, humid air rises rapidly within a cumulonimbus cloud, as we see here. The air cools, forming dense thunderheads with water condensing into rain droplets. Heavy rain falls, sometimes along with hail. Within the thunderhead are strong upward and downward winds known as updrafts and downdrafts. Many thunderstorms form in the spring and summer in southern states or on the western plains. Lightning and thunder. During a thunderstorm, areas of positive and negative electrical charges build up in the storm clouds. Lightning is a sudden spark or electrical discharge. As these charges jump between parts of a cloud, between nearby clouds, or between a cloud and the ground, lightning is similar to the shocks you sometimes feel when you touch a metal object on a very dry day. Because lightning is electricity, It is easily conducted by metal. What causes thunder? A lightning bolt can heat the air near it to as much as 30,000 degrees Celsius, much hotter than the sun's surface. The rapidly heated air expands explosively. Thunder is a sound of explosion. Because light travels faster than sound, you see lightning before you hear thunder. Let me say that again. Because light travels faster than sound, you see lightning before you hear thunder. The best analogy I can give you on that is from the Disney movie Cars, where Lightning McQueen says, thunder always comes after lightning. The speed of sound, which is thunder, is a lot slower than the speed of light. Thunderstorm damage. Thunderstorms can cause severe damage. The heavy rains associated with thunderstorms can flood low-lying areas. Lightning can also cause damage. When lightning strikes the ground, the hot, expanding air can shatter tree trunks or start forest fires. When lightning strikes people or animals, it acts like a powerful electric shock. Lightning can cause unconsciousness, serious burns, and heart failure. Floods. A major danger during severe thunderstorms is flooding. Some floods occur when so much water pours into a stream or river that its banks overflow, covering the surrounding land with water in urban areas. Floods can occur when the ground is already saturated by heavy rains. The water can't soak into the waterlogged ground or the many areas covered with buildings, roads, and parking lots. A flash flood is a sudden, violent flood that occurs shortly after a storm. There's a nice picture of a lightning bolt. Hurricanes. A hurricane is a tropical cyclone with winds of 119 kilometers per hour or higher. Hurricanes form in the Atlantic, Pacific, and Indian Oceans. In the Western Pacific, they are called typhoons. In the Indian Ocean, they're simply called cyclones. How hurricanes form. A tropical hurricane that strikes the United States forms in the Atlantic Ocean north of the equator in August, September, or October. That's typically what we call hurricane season. A hurricane begins over warm ocean water as a low-pressure area or tropical disturbance. If the tropical disturbance grows in size and strength, it becomes a tropical storm, which may then become a hurricane. The role of the oceans in the formation of a weather system, such as a hurricane, is to store the heat and moisture that the storm needs to develop. Look at Figure 4 to see how a hurricane forms. A hurricane draws its energy from the warm, humid air at the ocean's surface. As the air rises and forms clouds, the more air is drawn into the system. Inside the storm are bands of very high winds and heavy rains. Winds spiral inward toward the area of lowest pressure at the center. The lower the air pressure at the center of a storm, the faster the winds blow at the center. Hurricane winds are strongest in a narrow band around the storm center. At the center is a ring of clouds called the eye wall that encloses a quiet eye. The wind gets stronger as the eye approaches. When the eye arrives, the weather changes suddenly. The air grows calm and the sky may clear. After the eye pauses, the storm resumes, but the wind blows from the opposite direction. Here's the diagram of that hurricane. And note in the middle is what they call the storm's eye. In a hurricane, air moves rapidly around low pressure area called the eye. Here's a picture of Hurricane Katrina. It's from 2005. Here's another one of Hurricane Katrina in 2005 as it was going underneath the bottom part of Florida into the Gulf of Mexico. How hurricanes move. Hurricanes can last longer than other storms, a week or more in fact. During that period, they can travel thousands of kilometers. Hurricanes that form in the Atlantic Ocean are steered more easterly. Let me say that again. Hurricanes that form in the Atlantic Ocean are steered by easterly trade winds toward the Caribbean islands and the southeastern United States. After a hurricane passes over land, it no longer has warm, moist air to draw energy from. The hurricane gradually weakens, although heavy rainfall may continue for several days. Hurricane damage. When a hurricane comes ashore, it brings high waves and severe flooding, as well as wind damage. The low pressure and high winds of the hurricane over the ocean raise the level of the water as much as 6 meters above normal sea level. The result is a storm surge, a dome of water that sweeps across the coast where the hurricane lands. Again, the storm surge is a dome of water that sweeps across the coast where the hurricane lands. Storm surges can cause great damage, washing away beaches, destroying coastal buildings, and eroding the coastline. Tornadoes. A tornado is one of the most frightening and intense types of storms. A tornado is a rapidly spinning column of air that reaches down from a thunderstorm to touch Earth's surface. If a tornado occurs over a lake or an ocean, the storm is called a waterspout. Tornadoes are usually brief, but can be deadly. They may touch ground for 15 minutes or less and be only a few hundred meters across. But an intense tornado's winds speed may approach 500 kilometers per hour. How tornadoes form. Tornadoes can form in any situation involving severe weather. Tornadoes most commonly develop in thick cumulonimbus clouds, the same clouds that can bring thunderstorms. Tornadoes often occur when thunderstorms are likely in spring and early summer, late in the afternoon when the ground is warm. Tornado alley. Tornadoes occur in nearly every part of the United States. However, the Great Plains often have the kind of weather patterns that it is likely to create tornadoes. A warm, humid air mass moves north from the Gulf of Mexico into the lower Great Plains, and a cold, dry air mass moves south from Canada. When the air masses meet, the cold air moves under the warm air, forcing it to rise. A line of thunderstorms called a squall line is likely to form. When storms traveling northeast, a single squall line can produce 10 or more tornadoes. Here's a diagram of what we were just talking about. The cold, dry air from central Canada comes down, and the warm, humid air from the Gulf of Mexico goes north and hits the Great Plains area, which is the Midwest region of the United States. Warm, moist air flows upward. A low-pressure area forms inside the cloud. The warm air begins to rotate, which is where the tornado begins to spin and touch the ground. Tornado damage comes from both strong winds and flying debris. The low pressure inside the tornadoes sucks objects into the funnel. Tornadoes can move large objects and scatter debris many miles away. One tornado tore a sign off in Oklahoma and dropped it 50 kilometers away in Arkansas. A tornado can level houses on one street but leave neighboring houses standing. Tornadoes are ranked on the enhanced Fujita scale by the amount of damage they cause. The scale was named for the scientist who devised the original scale, Dr. T. Theodore Fujita. As shown in Figure 7, the scale goes from light damage, which is EF0, to extreme damage as EF5. Only about 1% of tornadoes are ranked as an EF4 or EF5. Another way to say that is basically you'll hear scientists say the tornadoes are ranked on this scale by, instead of damage, they'll say how much the tornado eats or destroys. Here's a diagram of that scale. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. EF0, branches are broken off of trees. These are the standard types of damage. EF1, mobile homes are overturned. EF2, trees are uprooted. EF3, roofs and walls are torn down. EF4, houses are leveled. And EF5, which is the largest, houses are carried away. How can you stay safe in a storm? A winter storm or thunderstorm can be fun to watch if you're in a safe place, but you don't want to be near a hurricane or tornado if you can avoid it. Winter storm safety. Imagine being caught in a thunderstorm when the wind suddenly picks up. High winds can blow falling snow sideways or pick up snow from the ground and suspend it in the air. This situation can be dangerous because the blowing snow limits your vision and makes it easy to get lost. Also, strong winds cool a person's body rapidly. If you are caught in a snowstorm, try to find shelter from the wind. Cover exposed parts of your body and try to stay dry. If you are in a car, keep the engine running only if the exhaust pipe is clear of snow. Thunderstorm safety. The safest place to be during a thunderstorm is indoors. Avoid touching telephones, electrical appliances, or plumbing fixtures. It is usually safe to stay in a car. The electricity will move along the metal skin of the car and jump to the ground. However, do not touch any metal inside the car. During thunderstorms, avoid places where lightning may strike. Also, avoid objects that can conduct electricity, such as metal objects and bodies of water. How can you remain safe if you are caught outside during a thunderstorm? Do not seek shelter under a tree because lightning may strike the tree. Instead, go find a low area away from the trees, away from fences and poles. Crouch with your head down. If you are swimming or in a boat, get to shore and find shelter away from the water. Hurricane safety. Today, weather satellites can track the paths of hurricanes, so people now receive a warning well in advance of an approaching hurricane. A hurricane watch indicates that hurricane conditions are possible in the area within the next 36 hours. You should be prepared to evacuate or move away temporarily. A hurricane warning means that the hurricane conditions are expected within the next 24 hours. If you are near a hurricane warning and are told to evacuate, leave the area immediately. Tornado safety. A tornado watch is an announcement that tornadoes are possible in your area. Or tornado warning is an announcement that a tornado has been seen in the sky or on weather radar. If you hear a tornado warning, move to a safe area as soon as you can. Do not wait until you actually see the tornado. The safest place to be during a tornado is in a storm shelter or a basement. If there is no basement, move to the middle of the ground floor, stay away from windows and doors, lie under a sturdy piece of furniture. If you're outdoors, lie flat in a ditch. This concludes our reading for storms. We hope you enjoyed this time and the information we provided. Thank you. Goodbye.